Step right up! It's a Monday night show! Put your headset on! Here we go! Welcome to Vision Profiles, where your eyes go whoa! And your brain just smiles. Marty's in the middle with the big bright grin. Eric, Dave, and Daniel say, come on in! Come on in! It's the 100th
Welcome to Vision Profiles, but a very, very special episode of Vision Profiles. Not like a very, very special after-school special episode. It's our 100th episode, and so that's just kind of fun for folks. And I know Dave has marked 400 episodes in his and still going. So the 100th one is it's the first one. It's kind of fun to finish the first 100 and keep going. We might have folks dropping into chat, just guests and people like that. So this show will be disruptive. We will get to some news along the way and maybe ask for the visitors to comment on it. I'm Marty Gensius and one of the hosts of Vision Profiles. And let's go to Eric.
Always go to me. I'm not ready. Hi, I'm Eric Bolden, and I'm always not quite totally here. But yeah, I just spent a couple hours trying to figure out how to do gaming with my daughter, and my brain hasn't caught up. So I don't know. Hand it off to the next person, I guess.
Dave.
I'm Dave Ginsburg. I'm the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast. I am here to be just mesmerized by everything you're doing tonight, Marty. But I am an IT professional with 26 years of experience, and an iPhone subject matter expert, and I'm learning new things about the Vision Pro every day.
And then finally, Daniel.
Daniel Burkholder, software engineer and technologist, currently immersed in generative AI and AR/VR technologies.
So, I think Dave's comment to see what I'm doing, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. We have we have our 100th episode, and we're going to play and have some good fun with it and see what's going on. We've already got Craig Allen back in the chat room. Craig, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being a part of the show. If you want to join us in the chat room, it's too late. No, it's not. If you're listening to us live, you're already in the chat room. What are you talking about? But if you're watching this after the show or down the road, you can always find us at youtube.com/@Vision Profiles. That's our channel. And some breaking news. I think I'm going to bring in a guest, or try to bring in a guest at this point, just to join in the breaking news that came out this afternoon. And there is Chris Wesselman, who has joined us as a guest for Vision Profiles. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
It's good to see you.
If you can hear us.
I can't hear you, Chris.
Mute.
There we go. It was that mute switch. This is
perfect.
the second podcast I've been on, aside from, the old Mac gang. And it's scary because I don't have any show notes or script to go from. So totally ad-libbing today.
Just be yourself.
Congratulations on the big 100, Marty.
Thanks. Thank these guys. I mean, these guys have been, Eric's been with me for the beginning. And then Daniel, Daniel, how did we find you?
I think you were on the Vision Pro Discords.
Yeah.
I just hit you up there.
Okay.
And,
yeah. And you joined us. And then Dave, of course, joined us too a few months after we started the show, because he had gotten a Vision Pro, and that's really cool. And Chris Wesselman, I know from the old Mac gang. He is on our Wednesday night show and is, I think, a stronghold to that Wednesday night group, because he's had some great experience. He does his research and does more research than probably even I do for that show, and contributes some really good ideas. So thanks for joining the group tonight, Chris. We're going to start to talk about Tim Cook and the big change that just occurred a couple hours ago, or at least we heard about it, that Tim Cook is become the Apple executive chairman, and John Ternus is stepping into Tim Cook's role. Guys, do you have anything to say on this?
Well,
It's been speculated for quite some time, so I'm not surprised. But the good thing is, I think it's going to be a good handover to this. To John is well qualified for this role, and then they brought in a guy to replace him. But Tim's not going anywhere. He's going to be executive chairman. He's still going to have some input. He put a long time into this company, and he's made many comments that he loves this company and it's not going anywhere. So. But it's just, it's time to get some fresh set of eyes at leading a company, and I'm happy to see it.
So, Chris, you had some things you were about to say, I think.
Sorry about it.
No problem. Dave's already covered the most of it, but the transition is supposed to be official September 1st. Right. And you notice Tim's words where he's going to be working with policyholders or policymakers, and we know who those are. And so he does jet set around the globe quite a bit and to Washington. And, that's a real important role to take care of that high level stuff so that John can do his thing as CEO. And I've been wondering how Tim was doing both for a while, but there was an article, not to take anything away from this, because I think John's a terrific guy and he's got a tremendous background. And there was a recent interview, I could put a link, I guess, maybe in somewhere here, that he did an interview with Jaws. And Ternus clearly looks more like a CEO in that interview. And just talking about where Apple was going with various things and stuff. I think it was done by Tom's Guide. Yeah. And anyway, good interview.
That was just recent.
Yeah, just recently. It was Mac Rumors had it on there. But but there was an article last fall, and they kind of looked at like who's in the wings in terms of potential candidates, because Tim's turning 65 and, everybody knew that. Of course, it's all public data. And, they said, well, there aren't a lot of other alternatives. Tim's the obvious one. He really popped out because there was a whole chunk of guys that's like Tim's age and everybody's retiring kind of things. And like Jeff Williams, already retired. And, Jeff was a super guy. And I don't know, I think he was really working behind the scenes. I don't know if he really got the credit he deserved in terms of the work he was doing. But, some guys at Apple does.
There is another person at the door. We're going to invite him in. And I am going to get Chuck in there. Hey, Chuck.
Live on this floor of NAB.
Yes,
hey, Chuck.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hang on, trying to get rid of the settings window there. That won't go well. Oh well. Happy 100th show.
Thank you. Wow, you're at NAB and having a good time getting good video, I'm sure, and connecting with great places. And I appreciate you taking a break to come in to wish us a happy 100th episode.
Well, hey, I couldn't miss it. It's 100 episodes. It feels like yesterday that you guys started this. I still can't believe it. And I don't have a Vision Pro yet. Sorry.
We got one for you waiting here.
I said this at MacStock last year that I think he's Chuck Joyner from Mac Voices for folks who want to look into his work. He's legendary in terms of the podcasting and video casting that he's done. But he introduced me to Eric. Eric and I got together because of Chuck Joyner. We met on Chuck's show and both figured out we were getting Vision Pros. And that's where we said, and I think I promised Eric, we'll do this. Do at least 10 shows and see what happens. And here we are at 100. And we had Daniel join and David join. So Chuck, you're responsible for this, but we are not going to chip in and get you a Vision Pro.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. But I feel like, though, after that story, Marty, that I should say I'm sorry to one of you. I'm not sure who.
Well, Eric and I have different senses of humor and different things that drive our life. So we play off of each other rather well. And I feel like I abuse him more than I should. And he's agreeing at this moment.
Nodding
But
head.
yeah. So have you heard about the breaking news with Tim Cook?
I did.
We were just chatting a little bit about it, and I'm sure you will cover it. I'm sure Dave will cover it on his show. We just thought we'd announce it here tonight because it happened today.
Breaking
Oh,
news.
yeah. You have to. I mean, it's because it affects all of the shows we all do. No matter what the bent of those shows is, because we're all Apple technologists. It'll be interesting to see. But I mean, for what it's worth, I think that it looks like John Ternus has been sort of working his way in a little bit, and so I don't think this is a big surprise. But we'll see.
Was there any betting money on Federini?
No,
I don't think so. I mean,
he's been quiet
he
lately.
seems to be a little less executive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Listen, I love him. He's a great stage presence, but I'm not sure how he is would be in a boardroom. So
yeah. Well, I have on another coming in outside, knocking on the door, Jeff Gamet. So
let me get out of here before Jeff gets here. So, I don't want to be responsible for any way for Jeff Gamet. So seriously, because they're closing this down. Happy 100th. Here's to another 100, and talk to you all soon.
Good. Thanks for stopping in, Chuck. Thanks for stopping in.
Take care.
It was really nice of you.
See you.
Yeah.
Now we got to figure out how to turn this thing on. There we go.
Okay, now I've got to.
He didn't turn it off yet.
All right.
Power it off.
There he goes. Okay, I'm going to try and get Jeff Gamet. Hey, Jeff Gamet.
Jeff Gamet.
I need to get out of here before Jeff Gamet gets in. That guy.
So here comes Jeff Gamet, and he's in the center square. Jeff, thanks for joining us. Jeff Gamet, famous for his writing and history of Apple and working in those positions, and then his own podcasts, and part of also Chuck's podcasts and Dave's podcast and the British Tech Network. Jeff, really grateful that you joined us. We were talking about the Tim Cook news that happened today.
Who's that? Okay, Marty, first, congratulations. Well, congratulations to all of you.
Yes.
100 episodes is a big milestone.
It is.
Most shows don't make it past 10, and here you are at 100. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really blessed. I hate to overuse that term because people don't see me as, I'm not a religious person, but that's the best word for it.
And I'm not either.
I've got I've got Eric and I've got David and Daniel. It's just a great group of people to keep this thing going. So thanks, Jeff.
Well, sure thing. And I'm happy to share with you some off the cuff thoughts about Tim Cook real quick, if you'd like. The announcement timing does not surprise me at all, because we got through the 50th anniversary celebrations, and it falls before WWDC. So I think we can expect to see a lot more Ternus versus Tim at WWDC. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I really thought Tim was going to wait until the end of the year, like make this a Q1 2027 announcement. So for something that happens in the October, November, December quarter. But earlier than I thought.
Yeah. I was curious, and this is something I was going to ask the whole panel. Okay, so you have certain devices or certain things that happen in Apple's history that are attributed to various CEOs. or at least developed and maybe released during the CEOs. But do you have any ideas how this will affect Apple glasses? Will that be a Tim product or a John product?
Well, the fact that John's
okay from the public perspective. Oh, I'm sorry, you were talking and I spoke over you. Please go ahead.
That's okay. The fact that John's a hardware guy, there's always been that adage inside and outside of Apple that at the end of the day, Apple is a hardware company. Now, of course, services and other things have really come a long way. But, that could bespeak more of hardware like glasses and new technologies and those kinds of things. I mean, that's, what do you think, Jeff?
I think that internally, the glasses are a Tim thing. I think from the public perspective, when the next face technology thing comes out, so glasses for lack of a better term, because that's probably what it will be anyhow, that will be seen by the public as a John thing. And that's okay, because regardless, it will be something that draws a lot of interest to Apple, because they'll be taking on the Meta glasses and the Google glasses and everything else that's already out there.
Yeah. Chris, I'm going to ask you to swap your spot. We have another person at the door. So Chris Wesselman, you might not know him, Jeff. He's part of the old Mac gang. And
Chris, you look far too young to be in an old Mac gang group with Marty, who clearly does look old.
It's all a facade, Jeff. It's all a facade. You don't see me first thing in the morning.
No, that's fair. It takes a while for all of us to pull ourselves together.
Jeff, you will appreciate Chris has had some great history working in, correct me if I'm wrong, working in IT at Stanford or support at Stanford. Was that the case? And did you do a stint at Apple too for a period of time?
I did, 93 to 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah. So he's got...
It was those tough days.
So those tough years, yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of customers that called in and said, it's people like you that keep me using Apple stuff. And so that was always good to hear and support, I came on with System 7 in Austin, and I sort of got shown the door after Steve came back and decided he didn't like my group, which was support readiness, because we knew everything the company was doing. But anyway, I won't go into whole laundry.
You can't have the people that know how everything works actually making things happen. That's not how this industry works.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I'm gonna need your window.
You got it.
So
gosh, all right. I'm gonna go have dinner and a glass of wine, and congratulations on your 100th.
Chris, great to meet you.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Chris.
You're not old. You're beautiful. I was just using you as a prop for a joke.
Okay. Yeah. Some people just use me as a joke. They don't need it as a prop, but we've got someone else coming in at the door, and we will put Cindy in.
Oh my gosh. Now it's a party.
It's a party.
Now we have a party.
and you just missed Chuck.
Oh, no, I saw him. I
figured you did.
Yeah. Cindy Rotz, I am co-host for her for Fade to Chat, the movie thing that we do together. And we cut a show this morning. I still have to produce it because this has been kind of a crazy day getting things together. So, Cindy, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you, Marty. And I'm literally just popping in to say congratulations.
Okay.
On the 100th episode. That's wonderful.
All right.
But I do watch David's show, and I, of course, watch Mac Voices, and I try to stay up to date, but Fade to Chat is really my area. It's what I like to talk about, those old movies.
You've been doing a great job. I'm impressed. You're a podcaster now.
No, Marty just lets me tag along. No.
Oh, come on. We'll call you a podcaster now.
It was so great to have her step up and say, yeah, I'll do this project with you after we got challenged last year by the eCam people to do another project. And it took me a while to get it going, but guilt got me around to it. And I said, Cindy, let's do this. And she has come so prepared for shows. It's so great.
That's awesome. See, you've learned well.
Teacher in me.
Cindy's a true professional.
She is.
It's the teacher. It's a teacher background. I can't help it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining. I have got a lot of people ringing at the door. Yeah, I'm going to pop you out for a bit. So thanks for joining.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Marty, feel free to pop me out too, so you have
time.
room for more people.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
So,
Cindy.
but congratulations to you, David, Eric, and Daniel. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Congratulations on so many shows. This is awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, I am going to bring in someone new in Cindy's slot, and I'm going to try and bring in.
Going on.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I gotta go. I hear my mom calling.
Yeah.
But really, I'll get out of the way so you have room for more people.
Guy, Serle.
Where?
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jeff, don't leave.
Oh no, Jeff.
Oh no, I thought I needed to leave so you had room for more people.
Well, I've got someone in the waiting room, though. That's okay. But before you go, this repartee, tell us where people can see you if they don't know.
Well, when I'm not stalking Guy, that was my out loud voice again. I'm always getting in trouble. How about Jay Gamet on the various social medias? Mastodon, PixelFed, and Blue Sky mostly. And then for shows, we do a lot of the same shows together. Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live. Dave Ginsburg's In Touch with iOS. I'm also on the British Tech Network for the Big Show and the Mac Show. And Brian Chaffin and I do the Context Machine. And Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
And subscribe to their newsletter. It's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Subscribe to the Context Machine newsletter.
That's brand new.
Lots of fun.
It is.
And very slick, very good.
Contextmachine.io.
Contextmachine.io. That's right.
All right.
See, I listen.
All the cool kids are signing up.
Yeah. I send comments, and Jeff never mentions them on the show. It hurts.
Now, I mentioned, didn't I? Oh, crap.
No,
did I forget?
Never. You've never said anything at all.
No, that's not true. Your suggestions about voiceover work, those we talked about on the show just a couple weeks ago. You should actually listen to the shows, Guy.
There you go.
I do. I'm
going to have to put you both in timeout
to listen to them on my way to work.
Okay, that's fair. And
you
Marty,
don't work anymore.
Yeah, I probably should be in timeout. Wouldn't be the first time.
We are doing some Apple Vision Pro news here.
Yeah.
We should get around to it. We're only 30 minutes into the show, and all we've talked about is Tim Cook. So, just some ideas, maybe about the thought that an article that came out 9 to 5 Mac that the iPad or the Pro, the Vision Pro, was being used for. It was being used for the Star Wars, the latest Star Wars film. So, I'll try and find this.
Oh, The Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah.
Where that
you
sounds
look
like
that
a
up.
Saturday
I'll get out of the
morning
way so there's
cartoon.
room for more people. And bye, everyone.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah. So this is a bit of the news that and it says basically Jon Favreau revealed at CinemaCon that he used Apple Vision Pro during the production of The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's going to be released. It's a movie starring Pedro Pascal. You could swing a dead cat and hit a movie starring Pedro Pascal these days. And it's going to be released May 22nd. So that's some bit of news.
I already have my tickets.
You have your tickets, Eric?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they released that as a movie instead of having it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Disney built custom app. He used the Disney built custom app so he could preview full IMAX scope shots while on the set.
nice.
And I've got somebody I'm going to let in who is at the door, and we will bring him.
Knocking on my door.
We have Brett Canedy, who
Brett, you made
is
it.
joining us.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah.
As promised from my commute home, I'm sitting on the train right now.
Nice.
Thanks for joining us, Brett Canedy, part of the Neo Notebook podcast that is on Sunday nights where we cover new material, and longtime Apple user and longtime great source of knowledge for Apple stuff. But he's just a babe in the woods, starting with podcasting and doing a great job.
Are you talking about Brett or me?
Both. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
no, I don't have the microphone collection that Guy does to establish myself
Nobody
in the
does.
podcast community.
Nobody does.
That's Hall of Fame status right there.
Yeah. So anyway, any other thoughts on this new Mandalorian film and the fact that they're starting to use Apple Vision Pro?
In what context are they using it?
Well,
they were saying they were
Favreau
using like a big IMAX screen so they could really see the shot as the viewer would see it. Once
instead of like just through a monitor or something?
Yeah. And I have to imagine too, like, a lot of movies and film just in general, like you'll see the sets, they're just playing in front of a big TV, right? And then they might have some props with all different kind of green screen setup too. I could envision too that if they're not already, being able to like walk around the virtual set in the Vision Pro would help get a better sense of like the environment, and maybe even for the actors too, to like not just relying on their imagination and what prop work is done, but also like just to kind of get into the environment literally. I mean, that'd be really cool. Like I think that'll help a lot, especially with maybe if we get to the other one, these new Blackmagic cameras too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But cinema, and also I expect video games I expect those developers to get more cinematic, if you will, with their games as well. I really want to see Hideo Kojima in one doing his next, whatever his next game is. I want to see that.
So, yeah, I have something that I'd like to kind of shift gears a little bit. This is another story. It is Sharp Healthcare launches a new Apple Vision Pro study in eye microsurgery. And it's an interesting concept. They talk about it pairs a Vision Pro with Clear Surgery, Clear Sphere spatial computing application and a Zeiss Artivo 3D digital ophthalmic microscope at the Sharp Otay Lakes Ambulatory Surgery Center in Chula Vista, California. And I probably mispronounced that, but it's an interesting story.
Nope. Chula Vista is correct.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Now it's time for me to move to California.
It's just down the street from me.
Oh, really? Yeah. Cool. So any thoughts on this? Now it's going into the surgery room and eye surgery, which is interesting.
But certainly, I mean, you have to be, the only other surgery I can think of where you have to be more precise than that is brain surgery.
They're not talking a lot about what they're going to be doing. The shift here is, and they've got Institutional Research Board approval to do this. It's going to be evaluating Apple Vision Pro in cataract surgery. And it's one of the first formal clinical evaluations of the headset in ocular microsurgery. Again, this is not a modeling kind of thing, whereas previous surgeries have been the person still doing the surgery and has different information with them. They're actually using from what I can tell, the headset integrated with the software, and that's how they will be making their surgical decisions through it. So they say it's not an anecdotal clinical use. It's an actual structural clinical investigation backed by the IRB. So,
do you think that I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Well, ironically, I am getting cataract. I am having cataract surgery tomorrow, as we record here. So that would be kind of cool to see how they would be able to do that in my procedure. I opted for the laser surgery versus the instruments. Of course, insurance doesn't cover that, but I thought it was going to be something that's more efficient the way they get into the eye and to what they have to do. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, we're seeing Vision Pro in a lot of other medical procedures and operating rooms and all this. Why not with the eye surgery too?
Yeah.
I have to imagine most of the gain really is on the ergonomics for the operator, more so than anything. Like, probably it's more of a virtual display and just for the operator ergonomics, because otherwise they're just using a big old screen, which those big old screens, while good, also cost as much as Vision Pro, if not 2 to 3 times more, which is kind of insane. So, and if they improve ergonomics, it means better outcomes because there's less fatigue on the operator. Good win all around and cheaper.
Guy, do you have something? Yeah, go ahead, Guy.
Oh, I was going to say, you're also looking at, this is kind of the advent of robotic surgery, where you have the actual surgeons aren't holding scalpels. They're in front of a virtual representation of whoever it is that they're operating on. And it's, all the actual surgery is being done robotically along, and there are still people there to make sure that, he doesn't just suddenly go through an artery or something and, step back and go, oh, it's bleeding. So, we're getting to the point now where doctors, because one of the things that you lose with doctors is when they retire because they're not able to do surgery anymore. So you lose that experience. But if their skills can be transferred robotically, then you still have those same people with their skill set that are kind of behind the knife, but just virtually.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other comments on this?
I'm already running short on time here. I'm almost to my station, so I'm going to have to jump off. But just wanted to say congratulations on 100 shows, and I will see you guys on Sunday at the next Neo Notebook podcast.
Thanks, Brett. I know we had you in the waiting room for a bit, and I appreciate you doing this on the train and joining us. And we will see you on Sunday. You have a good week, and we'll keep things together.
Yep.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Guy, you want to try another story here?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. We should have done this when Chuck was in, because he would have been great for this story. This is using Vision Pro to be able to see slopes. It's a putting simulator for Apple Vision Pro called Dream Putt. I think we finally found a reason for Chuck to buy a Vision Pro. Slope Grade, the pioneer in next generation putting training, announced the launch of Dream Putt, golf's first fully immersive putting app experience. And it combines a headset with a Square Golf launch monitor to create a virtual putting studio with access to over 100 championship courses. The app addresses a real training gap, the inability to repeatedly rehearse specific putts during a tournament prep without causing slow play on the practice screen. So over 900 drills are available across the course library. Features include course mode for simulating tournament condition putts in any hole location, visual slope and optimal line guides, animated putting stroke models, and customizable performance analytics. So yeah, it's a cute little piece of work that I think I'm going to need to send that link directly to Chuck so he can put some money down on it. Any thoughts about this? You already did.
I already did. Yep.
So what kind of app would be required, in your guys' opinion, to get me to buy a Vision Pro?
I don't know if it would be an app. I think you can do it already because we've seen that. And in terms of your monocular vision, there is a setting, Eric, back me up on this. There is a setting that you can do where you can actually put the whole field over on one eye.
Yeah.
Am I right?
That would be...
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, you can move it to one eye. You can set it so all the controls, all the eye tracking is based on one eye, so it doesn't get thrown off trying to find input. As well as you can adjust, which hand is tracking. I've got one friend of mine who uses that, but in her case, she's got an eye that moves unpredictably, so it throws off all of the tracking. So she just disables one eye, and then her regular dominant eye does all of the tracking, all of the everything else. In her case, it's not binocular vision, so the 3D immersive stuff doesn't help as much. So it's a matter of, well, are you using it for the big screen? Are you using it? She does some computer gaming, but it gives you better background if you're trying to do it in a room that's got windows.
Can we set that up in guest mode?
That would be very interesting.
Yes. Yeah, you can do it in guest mode because that's how she practiced with it first.
That's a challenge for when we're all together at MacStock.
Yeah.
I have two. We can set one up in guest mode, monocular for Guy to play with.
I wonder, what kind of latency there would be. Well, there's no way to tell until we try it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it should work just the same as it works for everybody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything
ignoring
worse.
Input from one side.
You're not so much ignoring input on one side. You're bringing the screen that another eye would be looking at and putting them both on the same side. So there is extra processing involved. Something I've, and the only other real problem with the Vision Pro in that kind of use case is its size, its bulk.
Yeah.
For things like, because besides driving, thank God for, blindside monitoring and alerts on mirrors and beeps and all that stuff. It's really made, it's the bigger reason why I got rid of a car that I really loved, because it didn't have that. And once I was in this situation, it was like, okay, well, I need a car that does that now. So I have one that does that now, and I can't go back to anything else. That's just a no-brainer. But if I can get just regular sized glasses that would do something like that, when I turn and look in the direction of on my right side where I don't have any vision, that would allow me to just drive the car normally, as long as there's not a problem with latency. Because when you're driving at 60, 70 miles an hour, it's like, oh, but there's a truck, and I know that because I've already hit it. So you've really got to kind of be in real time.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if any state has qualified the Vision Pro for use in a vehicle.
No.
I think it's
I don't imagine that they would. It's not the kind of thing that you go to a state legislator and say, okay, well, I need this huge device that's going to fit over my head, and then I'm going to drive down the road with it and not freak everyone out thinking I'm a Martian or whatever, because I've got a Vision Pro that's sitting on my head while I'm driving a car.
We showed a video last episode, or we linked to a video last episode of a guy who was in a Tesla and had a Vision Pro on, and he was watching movies. And the video itself was about 25 minutes.
He needs to be taken. He needs to have his driver's license taken away.
Oh, he got scuttled by critics for doing that. So.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Because if it was just his life, I would say, I don't care, you're an idiot. But
it was just his life.
Now endangering other people's lives.
Right, on the roads.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did say, hey, Mom, look, I'm driving with my headset on.
Okay. Yeah. So he is an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Not because he bought a Tesla, just because he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
In a Tesla.
Let me guess. It was a Cybertruck. It was a Cybertruck, wasn't it?
No, it was a Tesla, from what I recall from the article.
Cybertruck is Tesla.
I know, but it wasn't a Cybertruck.
It was like a Model 3 or Y or whatever.
Something like that. I don't know. I haven't really.
World's ugliest
I knew it
vehicle.
was not a Cybertruck, but I don't know the model line.
Yeah, every time I see it.
I know. Every time I see one of those on the road, it's just my head automatically goes,
"What a piece of crap!"
It's an involuntary thing now. It's like, here's a person screaming, "I have so much money, I can afford to waste it on this useless vehicle."
It kind of reminds me of like when I was a kid and somebody threw out a refrigerator box. It's kind of the car I would make from a refrigerator box when I see it. The design style is like refrigerator box.
Yeah.
I want to get to something that, Daniel wasn't with us last week. He comes in every other week for this. And last week it really hit the story about Valve Steam is creating this link in Apple Vision Pro so the gamers can bring in the Vision Pro or bring in their games into Vision Pro and play them.
Oh, it's like a monitor.
Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't be too hard.
Well, Daniel, you want to talk about? I set it up because I have an account, but I'm not a gamer, so the account the game I had in the account was like Crazy Goose in Your Backyard. Remember the running the goose running game,
Untitled Geese Game.
The Untitled Geese Game. And so I immediately tried to find other ones that I could purchase to play. And I got the setup it took a while for the setup because I had to remember my account number and I had to redo that and all of that. But Daniel's more in touch with this stuff. So I'm curious about your reaction to the articles. We'll have all the articles, even the ones we don't cover, in the show notes. So they'll be there for you to look at. Daniel, thoughts?
Yeah, it is nice to see them bringing their Steam Link streaming to the Vision Pro natively. You've always been able to get the iPad app, but of course, it's the iPad app, right? You're limited to that 4x3 and can't get, you're not going to have the 4K ultra wide wrap around your face kind of screen with that. So it's bringing it Vision Pro native obviously with controller support, which it had before. And this app, Steam has, just for anyone who's unaware, they have Steam Link, which is a little streamer box you can buy.
Yeah.
I would not personally recommend getting that in 2026 if anyone's thinking about it, just because hardware-wise, it's pretty old. Like, you're better off with an Apple TV with the same Steam Link app.
I already have one.
Yeah. It's
couple years ago.
Yeah, same. Like, they're like practically giving them out for free. I think literally too for a while. I think I have like 3.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's nice to see them come out with it. It works well. Of course, it's beta, and of course, since I'm using beta software on beta 2 of the latest VisionOS, which has actually been a little buggy for me. Performance so far has been okay compared to. I like using the Sunshine Moonlight combo, where Sunshine is the streamer on your computer and Moonlight's the client. I like that's been higher quality and a better experience ever since I discovered it, even on like the Apple TV compared to Steam Link. But it's not to say that this doesn't have its place and it's not good. I noticed there's some compression, some artifacts, or like some text was not very good, particularly red text, but that to me just screams, oh, this is just a encoding thing, and whatever encoder they're using. And I'm on the M2 Vision Pro. If I had the M5, I could use the AV1 encoder, whatever. And I actually had both the same stream from Steam Link and Moonlight up at the same time, and I was like kind of just looking at both of them. I'm like, okay, Moonlight's definitely better, but Steam Link, it's a little more user friendly. Everybody, these gamer nerds have Steam already. It's kind of a seamless, just pair it up and it works. So for, to get 80%, maybe it's not the tippy top best. And again, it's all still beta, but to get it from Valve first party, and it works really well. It's hard to beat that instead of cobbling together some open source, stuff off GitHub and whatnot. Now, the bigger thing about this is, are they going to provide PC VR support with this?
Mm-hmm.
They do support the Sony PSVR 2 controllers, but only as one game controller right now. It would be really interesting if they do. I hope they do, because I'd love to see. You wouldn't call it first party support, but in terms of VR, that's about the closest thing that exists in the ecosystem. Yeah. So I'd love to see them do that. I don't think we'd see it anytime soon, because they're a business wanting to launch a competing. Well, they're not. It's not. Steam Frame's not really a competitor to the Vision Pro, but they're a business wanting to release this in the later half of this year. So I don't know if I'd see them focusing too much time on the Vision Pro VR support, but maybe someday. Maybe it's a sign that it will come soon, which would be great.
Yeah. My attempt at it was successful to the point where I could get into the device. And what I really appreciated was there was an option to do curvature on the screen, and you could set the curvature as much as you wanted it to. So you could pretty much go from a 180 back to a flat screen if you want, or anywhere in between in it. It's all 2D. They haven't been able to do 3D with it at this point. But it was interesting setup. I could see gamers appreciating it.
And you don't have to exclusively use it for gaming. You can just use it as remote desktop if you want, and then just stream it. You're doing a remote virtual display of your regular desktop. So it's kind of like another avenue for somebody to have Windows.
Was that the original purpose of it, or was it Steam trying to get games on the Vision Pro?
No, that's the original purpose. That was the whole idea. Mostly it's how can I play my PC games on the TV? But I'm not going to drag my gamer rig over to the TV. Stream it over to the network. That was the original thesis. Well, it still is. And at the end of the day, they when you go into it, they're just loading another app, and then they're just remote desktoping anyway. So just saying, I want remote desktop mode. It's really just, hey, I'm not going to launch this full screen app when you remote in.
Yeah. I've got one final short story, and then we'll close down. And I want to find out, have Guy have an opportunity to talk about some of his stuff before we do that. But the lawyers have finally found us. Lawyers Vision Pro stories. And this is an attorney by the name of Edward Fogarty, and he talks in this article about buying a Vision Pro 6 months ago on eBay for approximately $2,200. It still had its Apple Care warranty on it, and he uses screens, which lets him control computers from another Apple device. He also likes the ultra-wide display, and he'll often use Log Me In on Vision Pro to see the control screen on his PC, and will use it for a virtual display. And he loves that he's using the Vision Pro to review transcripts and evidence because it's so much easier to work with such a big screen. So the lawyers have found us. Any comments? Yeah.
Yeah,
lawyers. I've been saying about the Vision Pro, I think most people want this software experience. It's just the form factor that's limiting. And something I'd say a little more of a normal person grabbing one up and finding a lot of use, they would probably agree with that same statement. It's the biggest drawback would probably just be the physical form factor.
Yeah.
Well, and the price.
Well, okay, yeah, sure, but we weren't going to talk about that.
Okay. If only they could get it running on an A18 Pro.
Yeah, right. If they could just do it on a bin chip, we'd all be happy.
The Vision Nano
$100 comes with,
or Neo
20 accessories.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for this 100th episode. Guy, why don't you let us know where people can find you and the things that you're doing?
Oh my God, I'm doing so many things. You can find me pretty much every single week unless I'm going off to Florida or New Jersey, and I have no idea why I do those two things. On the G-Men show, G-M-E-N show. It's a show that I do hopefully again soon with my fellow partner in crime, Gazmaz, hence Guy and Gaz, the G-Men. Yeah, I don't even know why I have to explain that. It's, it should be self-explanatory. But Jeff Gamet is going to be jumping in this coming weekend. And that will be an interesting show. My wife is leaving me for about 10 days to go to Boise, Idaho. Hopefully she'll come back. I kind of need her to come back. She's my rock. She's my rock. So there's the G-Men show. That's the podcast that I've been doing with Gaz in one form or another since 2010, as well as Guy's Daily Drive, which I did in my car while driving to work starting about 2018. There's a whole crap ton of those out there. And then the show that I'm most proud of that I do the least work on, which is Tales from the AI Verse, which only has 2 episodes after about a year and a half. I don't know why, but that's where we're at with that. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can do so by sending us an email to gmenshow@icloud.com. I'm over there on Twax and Skies of Blue as both Mac Parrot and Vert Shark. And Gaz and I have another account on both of those platforms just called Guy and Gaz, G-U-Y-A-N-D-G-A-Z. You can call us on our Google Voice number, 703-828-4677, unless you're outside of the United States, because that may cost you money. But again, not my problem. Not my problem. Tuesdays, I try to get on with pretty much everyone here and Chuck for
Mac Voices.
Mac Voices. Wow, I'm having a literal stroke right here as we're all talking. And on Thursday nights on Dave's In Touch with iOS, where I spend a lot of time saying things, and Dave and Chuck try to rein me in, but it doesn't always work. So, and thank you for letting me come on here to your 100th episode of Vision Profiles. It is I'm very, very much appreciative. And thank you. Also thank you for sending me that Ecamm vertical horizontal profile, which I've been heavily modifying since you sent it to me. And I'm hoping that by this weekend I'll be able to use it for the G-Men show.
Cool. I played around. The design that I used for this show started from scratch and just created it from scratch with that new framework and trying some different things. I'll talk about them off show at some point. So like currently, well, I'll just say right now, currently in the vertical, which you can't see, but I can see, you are covering up a promo like at Vision Profiles. Now, if you were to
should I like move to one side or the other?
No. See, that's the beauty of this. I designed this so you are the top layer. So any video that comes in becomes the top layer of that image. Right. Yeah, I'm getting into the weeds.
You are.
But yes, sorry, Dave. But thanks for being here, Guy, and particularly, we've had some great folks join. It's touching to have that happen, and you guys have been doing this for a long, long time. So it's great to have you show up here.
Thank you.
For that part of the show.
I started with the MyMac podcast in 2005. So 21 years.
Cool.
I had hair or more hair back then.
Yeah. I do want to make a mention of something that brings many of us together, and I hope Daniel will join us sometime. MacStock 10 is going to be celebrating its 10th anniversary. I'll be speaking. Dave will be speaking. Guy, are you doing a presentation?
No, I'm not doing a presentation this year. When I first decided I was going to go, I couldn't really give Mike enough time, and pretty much all the slots were filled up for speakers by then.
Yeah.
Though I was the very first speaker for MacStock back in 2016.
Wow. And Dave it's your 10th year of speaking. Is that right, Dave? You're muted.
Then you need that. I said I have spoke at all 9 Max Live Max Talks. Yes. I started at the beginning with Guy. I met Guy for the first time in 2015, that it was. Yes. Guy.
Oh, 2015. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Well, if our listeners want to find out any more about MacStock, it's a conference. It's a great conference. It is a right-sized conference for you to get to know everybody and meet everybody. You can look at macstockconference.com. There are passes. They're doing training and early training for eCam, and then you have 3 days of presentations that go on through the process. It's just a great experience with this, being able to be at MacStock and do that. So I encourage you to
Can I say something else about MacStock real quick?
Sure.
The one thing, and I really focus on this, part of the reason for MacStock was because the Macworld Expo went away. And one of the best parts about the Macworld Expo wasn't the floor, it wasn't all the products, it was the camaraderie between all of the people, whether they were press or whether they were just attending the show, and how everybody was approachable. And if there's one thing that Mike Potter has absolutely nailed with MacStock, it's the sense of community that you get from all of the people that attend, between the speakers that are up there giving presentations, the companies that are, helping to sponsor the show, and all of the people attending. You will suddenly have more than 100 best friends when you go to a show like this. And it is just, considering everything that you get with a show like this, it is so worth it to go. And I highly recommend it for anyone who's the least bit interested in learning more on how to use Apple products.
But it's not a cult.
No, not at all. Just don't say anything bad, or else.
Yeah, the first rule of MacStock is
you don't talk about MacStock.
Talk about MacStock. No, you do talk about MacStock.
Right, that's true. A lot.
All right. And if you get on the site and you're interested in joining MacStock, there is a discount code called PodTalk, which is the network that I put together, and you can use that at checkout and get a $50 discount for a weekend pass. So take a look at the website. I hope you'll be able to attend. Everything that Guy says about it is true. We all, Eric, myself, David, and Guy met through our MacStock connections, and that's all been great. So before we go, let's find out quickly where people are and how people can get in touch with them. We've heard from Guy. I'm going to go to Dave.
Yes. Find me at InTouchWithIOS, InTouchWithIOS.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/InTouchWithIOS. I'm on the Neo Notebook, the great new show we're doing on the MacBook Neo on Sunday nights. Mondays here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live when Chuck's not at the NAB. Thursday nights, record In Touch with iOS. Fridays on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. In Blue Sky, Mastodon, I'm on Dave G65.
All right. Eric.
I can be found on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. Otherwise, Sunday nights on the Neo Notebook. Mondays, of course, here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live. And Thursdays on In Touch with iOS.
All right. Daniel.
You can find me here every other week or so. And then otherwise, my only real social is Blue Sky at IO Expander.
All right. Just look for me on the podtalk.net. You'll see all the shows that I'm involved in and shows that I'm on, and many of them have been said by David and Eric. Neo Notebook on Sunday nights, this show on Monday nights, and then Chuck's show, Mac Voices Live, on Tuesday, Dave's show, In Touch with iOS, on Thursday, and then a slew of other podcasts that I'm help producing, like the one with Cindy. Cindy was one of our guests tonight, Fade to Chat, and then some other ones that I'm involved in. So really my thanks goes out to this team, because we start one of these things, you don't know how it's going to hang and how people are going to be with it. And You know, I've talked to other podcasters and say never do a podcast with someone else because your podcast is dependent on someone else. And I'm like, I can't imagine doing a podcast without someone else. And what a great group of people to do this with. So again, my thanks to Eric and Daniel and David for being part of Vision Profiles. That's our 100th episode. Thanks to the guests, the folks that all stopped in, and to our chat room who listened patiently. We had folks in the chat room, including Craig Allenbeck and Gerns Blanston, 6511, and more people than that just by looking at the numbers that are in the chat room. So thanks for being part of that. And here's to the next 100.
It's the 100th episode of Vision Profile 100. Apple World's popping out into your living room. News and apps and giggle fits and goofy smiles. We're live on Monday night, so zoom, 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 zoom. Spin that crown, see a dinosaur dance. Tiny little windows doing cartwheels in your hands. Try this game. Check that out. They all shout in a pile. Everybody falling off the couch in mixed reality style. Whoa! It's the 100th episode of Vision Profiles 100. Put your snacks in space and your sofa on the moon. Marty, Eric, Dave, and Daniel crack their files. We're